That was their Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Hey, we should start the meeting here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bensalem Township Council meeting. Today's date is May the 6th, 2024. I would like to introduce you to our council members and those up at the dais this evening. But at first, we're going to please stand for a moment, sign of meditation or prayer, and then we'll do the introductions. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our introductions are as follows. To my extreme left, we have our township engineer, Phil Worcester. Next to him is Debbie McBreen, our secretary. We have our council members. We have Michelle Benitez, Joe Polari. We have Joe Knowles, Stacy Champion, and I'm Ed Kisselback. Also, we have our solicitor, Joe Pizzo. And we'd like to begin the meeting by asking if there's any deletions or changes to the agenda this evening, Mr. Pizzo.
Yes, Mr. Kisselback. Earlier this afternoon, the township received correspondence from the attorney representing the applicant on item number 9, which is the land development for Brilla LLC. Apparently, there is a scheduling conflict that has arisen with the applicant, and they've asked that the matter be tabled to the next council meeting, and they have granted the township an extension of time to the extent necessary under the municipality's planning code for the consideration of that application.
All right, that would be May 20th. I'd ask for a motion to be put on the floor that we can extend this until May 20th.
Make a motion to table item number 9, Brilla LLC, to a date certain of May 20th.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All those in favor? Aye. And against? Any abstentions? All right, unanimous. All right, agenda, is that it, Joseph?
That is the only item of land development of which I'm aware. The other item would be item number 5, which is the consideration and public hearing on the ordinance regarding mobile food vending. We've received comments back in regard to the content of that ordinance, and in reviewing it with the administration and with the president of council, what we're going to do is make some changes to the ordinance, the extent of which are such that I imagine it will require the ordinance to be re-advertised. So at this point, if you want to just table item 5 indefinitely, and we will re-advertise it when the changes have been made and it's ready again for your consideration.
All right, so then we need to table this indefinitely, no date certain.
I'll make a motion that we table number 5, consideration of the ordinance of the mobile food vending to an indefinite date in the future.
We have a motion on the floor. We do have a second. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against? Any abstentions? That is unanimous. Agenda item number 2 is a introduction, number 3 is the public comment, and that's limited for agenda items. So anyone like to come forward and comment on the agenda items? You will have an opportunity as each item is presented individually. You can comment at that time also. So not seeing anyone come forward for agenda item number 3. We'll move on to the agenda item number 4, which is the approval of the council minutes, meeting date of April the 8th, 2024. Are there any changes, deletions, additions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept as presented.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We do have a second on the motion. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
And against, an abstention. Jeff, could you pass this down? Thanks. Oops. Where's the trash? There you go. All right, we're going to move on to agenda item number 6, as we're skipping 5, as we just tabled it, and that is a consideration of a 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program. Mr. Pizzo, if you can explain that to us. It's fairly self-explanatory as we read it, but for the public's.
Yes, and this is an item that the administration presents to council each year. It's the proposals from the Director of Administration and the Mayor as to the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program. This year, the township expects to receive $388,888 through the Community Development Block Grant Program. The funding will be used for ADA accessibility improvements and ADA public services throughout the township. The breakdown of how the money will be spent is a part of the attachment to the memorandum from the mayor in order that the township can move forward under the requirements of the Community Development Program. It requires council's approval of the budget for 2024.
Okay, so as we all know, the breakdown is going to be as follows. ADA, curb cut upgrades, that's something we need to do to make sure we're compliant, is $268,888. The Family Support Service Homeless Shelter is $40,000. The program administration is $20,000, and housing rehab is $60,000, and so that totals just shy of $400,000, and the amount was expressed by our solicitor of $388,888. So I need a motion on the floor. Is there any questions? Number 1. Questions? I ask for a motion to be put on the floor. Motion?
Make a motion to approve the 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second on the motion. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, any abstentions? Number 7 was, excuse me. Number 7 is a consideration of a minor land development. This is for McDonald's USA, and this is 1240 Bristol Pike. This is a McDonald's restaurant with a drive-through GC Commercial District, and the tax map parcel is 02-030-009-002. So we have some gentlemen representing McDonald's, and thank you for your information you're giving me here. And if you can, let us know who you are, and you'll speak at the podium in the microphone, because this is being taped. That way everyone can hear you when it's reviewed on our TV screen.
Understood. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Leonard Altieri, representing the applicant this evening, which is McDonald's USA LLC from the law firm of Claire Harrison. Again, the property is located at 1240 Bristol Pike. Mr. Piazza.
Council, before you start the presentation, do you have the proofs of advertisement?
I do.
And not advertisement, proof of mailing to the adjacent property owners?
I do.
Could I have those, please?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. Thanks.
So if I can proceed. Again, just high level, Leonard Altieri from the law firm of Claire Harrison. I do have with me this evening our civil engineer from Bowler, Mr. Justin Klee, and I believe Mr. Nelson from McDonald's is here as well, who's a representative of he's the franchisee of the property. As was alluded to by Mr. Kisselback, the subject property is located at 1240 Bristol Pike. which is specifically located along Bristol Pike and the intersection of Black Lane Run. Also, the property is in the GI General Commercial District. Again, high-level overview of this, and then I can turn it over to our engineer if there's any specific questions. But as part of a nationwide modernization program, the applicant is proposing to upgrade the existing restaurant drive-through from a tandem single lane where you have one lane throughout, and it kind of breaks off with two menu boards. What we're proposing is to do a side-by-side that you're starting to see with a lot of the other McDonald's. What happens is it creates two drive-throughs and then centers back into one lane where you then pay and pick up your food. By developing these McDonald's in this way, McDonald's is able to see a substantial increase in customers ordering their food, receiving their food. It prevents the stacking that we see in some of the older drive-throughs. It allows the cars to move through with much more ease. The other reason that McDonald's is seeking this as part of their nationwide modernization plan is since COVID, we have seen a drastic increase in drive-through sales. This restaurant in particular is not unique to that, and so to adjust to that demand, we are here tonight seeking that tandem, or excuse me, that side-by-side. We were before the zoning hearing board in June of 2023, where we received any necessary relief that was required or needed in order for us to move forward with this project. Tonight, we are here for a minor preliminary final subdivision approval. We are seeking 3 waivers this evening, which again, I can have the engineer go into greater detail if there's any questions from council. Specifically, section 201-106-2A6, which is to permit grading within 3 feet of the site property. Section 201-106-2C9 to waive the requirement to provide a landscape plan. Section 201-112-0 to waive the requirement to provide a lighting plan. We are in receipt of the review letters from the township engineer. Everything with the exception of those waivers that we're seeking tonight is a will comply. We are also in receipt of review letters from the fire marshal. We have had conversations with the fire marshal, and at this time, I believe that we have successfully alleviated any concerns that he might have, and anything that he is putting forward is also will comply with that. So with that being said, I can answer any questions, or I can turn it over to the engineer if we want to go into specific engineering.
Let's go to the engineer at this time. And your name, sir, is?
My name is Justin Klee with Polar Engineering.
Justin what?
Klee, K-L-E-E.
Okay, Justin, thank you.
Before we proceed, can we ask you a question regarding the fire?
Yes.
When's the last time that you spoke with the fire chief?
We spoke with him about a week and a half ago.
And at that point, you didn't get an approval letter. You still have a rejection letter in our packet. So did you get anything in writing with the approval, or was this just a conversation? And
It was just a conversation at this time, yes.
okay, so can you talk to us more about that? Because that's something that would hold us up.
Yeah, so he did follow up. There's not an official review letter from him. There was an email that he did send to us as well as to Ms. Khan saying, and I'll let Justin go into the detail of the conversation since I wasn't a part of it. But I'll bring the plan over and he can address to you what the fire marshal's concern was and how we are revising the plan to satisfy his comments.
Have you advised the fire marshal this? Of
Yes.
what the revisions of the plan are?
Yes, we have. So his concern was the location of the drive-through adjacent to the fire department connection. So we're working with McDonald's to relocate that fire department connection to the front of the building. Where that's located will then replace the current location of the fire lane to that location. So currently, the fire department connection is located on this portion of the building, and you have your fire lane here. With the proposal, oops,
I'm sorry, can you go back to the other one again and go through that again?
yes. So the fire department connection is located on the southwestern part of the building in this location here. We are proposing to put a side-by-side drive-through in this area, which would then block direct access to that fire department connection. We are proposing to relocate the fire department connection to the front of the building so that there would be no nothing blocking that fire department connection. And along with that, the fire lane would be relocated to the front of the building here. and striped out
Where's
accordingly.
Bristol Pike as you describe it to us?
Bristol Pike is to the the southeast of the building.
Okay, I was just trying to orient myself when you said the front of the building, I was,
The front faces.
And that-
Front faces that way.
yeah.
Sorry.
Faces, yeah, did used to.
That wouldn't interrupt any other service requirements with it being in the location that it currently is? Because there are other buildings in that parking lot adjacent to you.
Well, in coordination with the fire marshal, he agreed that that's the best location. It was his suggestion to put it into the front of the building. So we're working with him to
So McDonald's has
satisfy
approved this? They're fine with this in terms of
Yes.
going from that, with that path? Because my understanding is that we were waiting on feedback from McDonald's if you were going to go that.
Yes, we are going that way.
So you have a verbal agreement from our fire marshal, is that correct?
That is
That's
correct.
what, well,
And so that would, Mr. Pazzo, would that have to be contingent upon the approval? Obviously, I would think it would.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
if council is of a mind to approve the application at the conclusion of this hearing, one of the conditions would be that the applicant would comply in all respects with the requirements of the township fire marshal, which Mr. Altieri has already said they will do.
I'm retired now, but a businessman, and for some reason, I always write contracts when I need to know what the answers would be, and sometimes the verbal agreement is as good as the paper it's written on, and you're coming before us on what we think a very important aspect, especially for a restaurant of such that has a lot of activity and a lot of fried-type foods and things like that, and telling us that this is your agreement. Why did you not, do you have a written agreement with you, did you say?
So we have an email that was sent from the fire marshal
When?
to this email, and I apologize that I didn't print it out. Since the township engineer's office was included in it, I didn't think it was necessary to have. I will say, as I dig this out, as Mr. Piazzo said, we will, anything that gets approved tonight will be contingent on us following the fire marshal and any other review letters that are out there. This was from Robert on April 26th, Friday, April 26th at 9:12. Nicole Kahn was included on it,
from Robert who? Sponheimer?
Sponheimer.
And what did he say again?
So Nicole and Bill, I had a meeting with Tom from Bowler this morning, and I think we made some good progress. They're going to reach back out to McDonald's to get some feedback, but I should be able to, but I should be able to move forward with your review. If you have any questions, please let me know.
But that is not a notice that they're okay with what you're doing. They're waiting for feedback from you, from McDonald's for approval. And so you said that you have his approval. He's waiting for feedback, and
So
you
if
have not gone
if
back
let
to
me-
him
So I'm
and
digging,
told him.
I'm digging out other emails here again. This was,
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If this was made contingent upon making the necessary changes wanted by the fire marshal, would you be willing to do that?
that's exactly what we've said at the beginning of this, is that it
So
would be
you
contingent
can't do
on it.
anything until the fire marshal approves what you want to do. So if the board decides to approve this tonight, you don't have a possible problem with making that a contingency on the approval, that if you don't get the fire marshal's approval, then your approval's worthless. So, and this is the same as what's on Street Road. The McDonald's on Street Road, this is the same setup that they have there, correct? Has the two order places and then a delivery and a pickup spot on the side of the building. So it's already in action now. It's already in use in Bensalem like that. But if you have a contingency put on it that you can't do this unless you have the approval of the fire marshal, you guys would be okay with that?
That's correct.
Okay.
And then also, and I don't want to read other individuals' emails out, but Nicole did respond to that, to which Robert said, she asked what's the effect it's going to be on plans. He said his thought is to relocate the fire department sprinkler connection to the front of the store facing Bristol Pike, also moving the existing fire lane and moving it to the front of the building where the FDC will go. It appears our truck can get around the property the way it is designed.
And did you guys, so the reason I'm asking is,
Understood.
the fire marshal's not aware of this, that you guys are going to comply. Plain and simple. They're not aware that you're going to comply.
I don't understand how the fire marshal could think that
Well, you just
that's-
said waiting for their feedback. You
Well,
read
that
his
was-
response.
That was the first email, to which then Nicole responded, and then I just read the other email right there.
But you never, but I don't see anything from you guys going back and saying we're going to comply with all those things. And that's my only point, is that it's been how many months that it's been, part of the reason why it hasn't gone on the agenda or been tabled or moved to another week is because of various questions with the fire marshal. So I'm just sorry. It's
No,
just, from our perspective, it's a little bit aggravating.
I understand that, and, there was other issues outside just the fire marshal review letter. We also had some requests to give additional information with regards to traffic impact and the amount of cars, which obviously those studies take some time to produce, and which we have subsequently provided. As was alluded to in the beginning of this, and as Mr. Polari said, any approval is contingent upon us satisfying the remarks of the fire marshal. And so, even as your solicitor said, if we got a contingent approval tonight, we would not be able to move forward unless everything got signed off from the fire marshal, which we believe, and we're working under the assumption that he was fine with the changes that we made.
It's an assumption, right? I'm an accountant. I know what,
Mr. Pizzo, were you
I'm
in
fine.
agreement that if this is contingent upon them meeting all the specifications of the fire marshal, then we could proceed with this application, correct? Am I correct?
If that's what council wishes to do, yes, there's no problem proceeding that way.
Okay,
I'm
but
not
what are
necessarily
we,
against that.
what are you complying with? Do we even have like a checklist?
Whatever the fire marshal says he has to do,
I would
that's
like,
what he's complying with.
I understand that, but my question is, do they know what they should be expecting of the request from the fire marshal?
Yeah, he just read what he wanted.
Besides moving that, are there other items?
That was as far as
That was his only sticking area.
Okay.
He had a comment regarding the circulation and the width of some of the access drives around the building, but those are all existing. So it was currently approved that way, and he's currently able to navigate it. It is an existing site, and he had no issues with that once we explained that to him.
Mr. Worsted, do you have any issues with what's being heard here?
No, I just want to hear a will comply for the review letters, and then we'll comply with the fire marshal's requests, and we'll make sure that those are accommodated for signatures by council and final plan approval. And we will be in contact with the fire marshal.
Yeah, what Mr. Polari is saying is absolutely correct, corroborated by our township solicitor. However, what our council women are saying also is that you're making I would think, some of a sloppy presentation to us when you had all this time to do this. And if you reread your email, it doesn't say they're going to comply with it. They said that we're going to move on with the process. That's what I had recall you just read, that we were going to move on with the process,
And that you
okay?
had the approval, you had the verbal
So
approval from the.
maybe you're not used to being in Bensalem. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But we're going to move on with the process and see where we go, okay?
So so I'm guessing this is being tabled, is that what you're saying, sir?
I did not say that.
Okay, I just didn't know what.
No, I said we're going to move on with the process. We're going to go through, we have a review letter dated May 1st, 20 by 24. Unless you want to make a motion to table it.
No, I'm fine, I'm just.
And
I just-
we're going to move on to May 1st, 2024, and this is from Traffic Planning and Design. And do you have that letter in front of you, I hope?
I do, sir.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's move on, and let's go, we went through the zoning ordinances, we know what's happening here. We're interested in the subdivision and land development. You said, I want to go through these individually, because you said you do have 3 requests for waivers. So let's go through this individually so we can at least cover that aspect of it. And then we'll go through the fire marshal's letter specifically also, so we understand what we're doing there, okay? So we have the following comments related to the township saldo ordinance. And this is number 1, section 201-62. The applicant is required to submit the final plans and make application to the following agencies: the Bucks County Conservation District Erosion and Sedimentation Control Plan. Will you comply with that?
Yes, it's been submitted.
All right, it's comply. And number 2, section 201-106, environmental protection and open space preservation. No proposed grading shall be permitted within 3 feet of any site, property line, proposed curb, western of site of 3 feet from the property. The waiver is required, and I think you are requesting a waiver on this, as I recall. Is that correct?
That is correct,
You are
yes.
asking for a waiver on this one. B, landscaping plans should be provided illustrating the existing and proposed conditions. A total of 13 trees should be provided. I don't know where I'm going to put those. 10 trees per acre of gross site plus 1 tree for every 5 parking spaces. The applicant is requesting a waiver for this also. So that's 2A and 2B, you're requesting a waiver on those 2 items.
That's correct.
And then if that's granted, you will submit the same amount of trees to our tree bank in either a monetary compensation or the trees themselves. Is that correct, Phil?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move on to,
The landscape around the trash enclosure.
what's that?
Landscape around the trash enclosure is next, right there.
Well, okay, I'm turning the page.
I thought you were going back.
No. But that's okay, thank you. Okay. Number, I guess is double I. The existing landscape area surrounding the trash enclosure is proposed to be modified. Detail of the proposed area should be provided. Applicant states the owner-operator will supplying this element of the proposed design. So what does that mean? What are you doing?
So the current store owner will be planting the plant species that they would like around the trash enclosure.
So you're going to comply with this, is that correct?
Correct, yes. There will be plantings. It's on the property owner.
And it's three spaces are blocked off and the one's open. Is that correct? Is that a door type of a thing, a gate type
They're
of a
not putting a
thing?
fence up, they're doing landscaping.
Well, it's surrounded by a masonry block wall on 3 sides with gates on the
sides,
front.
right.
So it is completely contained, and then the additional landscaping would be proposed around the outside.
The front of the,
It would not be along the front, it would be along the back side and the
Right.
western side, yes.
Facing Bristol Pike and facing TJ Maxx.
all right, so the canisters or cans or bins will be exposed to the public, is that correct?
No, they're surrounded on 3 sides by masonry block wall,
All right, so there's
And
a
then
4th
con-
side, right?
and then closed with the gates on the front.
There is gates, okay.
Yes.
I thought I asked that in the beginning, but I don't know, I didn't get that answer. Okay. I lost that somehow. Okay.
That gets approved by somebody, right, Ed, whatever landscape they're doing? Does that get approved by?
It'll be
That'll be
approved by
part-
the township engineer.
Okay.
All right, number 3, section 201-111, sidewalks. All sidewalks shall meet all applicant standards for access by handicapped persons, so you will comply with that, of course.
Yes.
Section 201-112, motor vehicle parking facilities. Applicants shall provide a lighting plan with insulin, am I saying that right? I'm sorry. Footprint for each fixture. Applicant is requesting a waiver for the design standard. This office would support this action since it is an existing facility with lights. The lighting's already there. So you're asking for a waiver on that.
Yes.
Phil, you're fine with that, correct? And number 5, non-residential developments. And here we go back to trash again. The trash collection area shall be screened and landscaped on 3 sides. It's like deja vu already. A wall is provided with a double swing gate. There's my answer right there. Applicant states the owner-operator will be supplying this element of the proposed design. Okay, I understand that. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. So you're asking for 3 waivers,
That is correct.
somewhat minimal in terms of the whole project, which is a small project in itself. Now let's go to stormwater management. Okay. Stormwater management, now normally we have a comparison of before and after for the CFSs, I guess it would be, for the flow of the water of before development and after development. I don't know how there could be any changes with this. All you're doing is painting the ground.
Really just a heavily impervious site. A heavily impervious site, and the applicant has agreed to do what they can with regard to things out there. I think you're putting in some sort of rain garden or rain barrels or something along that
We're
line.
reducing the amount of impervious on the site.
Now,
So
do we
there's
have
no-
that information? Because I don't have it in front of me. I don't think I have it in front of me.
If you, the packet that I gave you, we have one of the plans in there is the existing site plan, and then the other one will be the proposed improvements, which should have the impervious coverage calculations on it.
All right, let me go to that. Sorry. I'm going backwards, I don't know why.
Post-development drainage, right?
Impervious coverage calculation.
Oh, the impervious coverage, sorry. On sheet C301, the impervious cover existing is 28,257 square feet. In the proposed condition, it is 28,220 square feet. So we're reducing the amount of paving on the site by about 37 square feet, which would in turn reduce the amount of stormwater runoff within the site.
Well, yeah, if it's running in the right direction.
Did your department see the differences on what's going on there? How much water runoff is now and what it will be with adding this addition?
That's what we're talking about here, that they're
I know, I'm
they're
asking
reducing the impervious, so there's no additional stormwater management.
I understand that. I'm asking you to put that on the record because, so that the public knows, because that's the question. So
Oh.
you're saying there is no more extra runoff, so.
Correct, less.
Thank you.
And is that documented in any type of way from an engineer? or-
Well, as part of our, on
Or
that
from
comment,
you?
we agreed with that, with their comment associated with the stormwater management, that they've satisfied our concerns by reducing the amount of impervious.
Okay. So that's your solution to it?
Yes.
Is what you're telling us? Okay. All right. We'll accept that from you. All right, let's go through stormwater management then. I mean, but again, normally we have a comparison, so it's not that difficult to do, and I think any project we've ever had always had that, so I'm just taken aback on that.
Just a complete reduction in before and after runoff, that, and you know, I don't know how we would specifically model it since everything's impervious out there. So we're adding, what are we adding, grass? I mean, we're taking out,
Additional grass areas, yes.
so that was about the best we can do in that location. So it was more of a, I'm not sure how to describe it. I'm not sure, were calculations done?
I believe they were submitted.
And it must have been a minute amount of reduction to not show it here.
Okay. I understand everything is de minimis in terms of the project itself, and there's not much changes being done, but I guess
No,
I'm
I
just...
guess in hindsight, we should put it in, but normally, we're increasing the impervious and getting less runoff from the existing condition. In this one, we're reducing the impervious, which is allowable, and we're obviously not increasing any flow because we're reducing the impervious. Does it make
Sometimes,
sense?
well, no, it
makes sense,
doesn't,
but
it
maybe-
doesn't, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why, because then you have the direction of the flow of the water too. And I don't know how that's calculated in the whole thing. Since you're making that presentation to me, as opposed to not giving me, not when I said, when you're making that presentation to me and not telling me that you have a specific reduction, apples to apples and orange to oranges, and then you say, well, since we reduced the impervious surface, that should solve the problem. I'm saying, well, yeah, but does it change the flow of the water going on to Bristol Pike?
Mr. Clee, can you
I don't know.
answer that question?
As part of our submission, we provided a stormwater analysis that showed where the water was going, each direction as it left this, crossed the site boundary. And we provided calculations showing that in each of those points of interest, that the stormwater runoff is being reduced in the
Okay.
post-development condition. I don't have those numbers with me right now, but that was provided. as part of our submission.
Mr. Worcester, wouldn't your engineering firm put that on the forms that are supplied to us for the township to make sure that the water, all that runoff and everything is right for us to approve? Isn't that something you guys would put in the report, approve and put in the report so we know what it is?
Well, we usually only do it when there's an increase of impervious.
Okay,
So,
what Mr.
but,
Kissel
no,
is
he's
asking-
he's correct. I said in hindsight, that should have been done.
So that's something we should have done, and we should have made sure it was in the report that that's what it was. If that's what council wants in the future, that's the way it should be.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, let's go through the stormwater, based on the letter that we have in front of us, let's go through the stormwater management ordinance comments. And we have section 196-33, erosion and sedimentation control during regulated earth disturbance activities. You have to please submit an erosion and control plan to Bucks County Conservation and review and approval. That's A. You're going to comply with that?
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering, I was here and waiting for you. All right, regulated activities with earth disturbance over 5,000 square feet, subject to permit requirements by DEP. Provide a copy of the approved permit.
We will comply with that. as
Comply
well.
with that. Evidence of a necessary permit for regulated earth disturbance activities from the appropriate DEP region, Office of the Bucks County Conservation District, must be provided to the township. Issuance of the NPDES stormwater permit for construction activities or permit under the statewide general permit, PAG-2, satisfies the requirement of Section A.
Yes, we will, yes, we will comply.
A little hesitant on his replies, guys. Let's beef it up a little bit. You're standing there, look mesmerized as I speak to you. You still do.
Well, I'll make sure he answers it with a little more gusto next time.
There you go, there you go. Okay, Section 2, 196-35, stormwater peak rate. Stormwater peak rate control and management district. A, proposed conditions rates of runoff from any regular activity shall not exceed the peak release rate of runoff from existing conditions for the design storm specified on a stormwater management district watershed map. And in this section of chapter, applicant has satisfied this requirement for the site. Okay, that's a key compliance on your part that we've been talking about. So you do,
We comply. It's noted in here that the applicant has satisfied the requirement.
okay, thank you. And then, that basically finishes the letter from our township engineer. And, well, yeah, we can go fast. Let's go to the, I have to track this down. Let's go to the fire marshal's letter. And ladies, if you want to comment on that, if you want to take over from there, you can do that if you like. It's up to you.
No, I'm fine, they explained everything, I'm good with the fire marshal's letter, but please, next time, just make sure you have that he said you're good with, that we're complying for another project. That's
Absolutely.
really kind of my point, not to
Absolutely.
belabor it, I don't want to belabor it. 'Cause this is a minimal project, but when we're looking for something.
Understood.
Okay.
Agreed.
How about yourself, Michelle? Okay. All right, so there's all the information we need for this minor subdivision land development. Is there anyone in the audience like to come forward and comment on this? Not seeing anyone come forward, I'll close that comment, and I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor from council.
I'll make a motion that we approve a preliminary and final land development for 1240 Bristol Pike McDonald's. The main thing being that they get approval from the fire marshal's office with all his conditions are met for the project. Under the subdivision, we would give them a waiver on number 2A in reference to the 3 feet of the site property line. We give them a waiver on 2BI in lieu of them paying for additional trees that aren't provided on the property, We'd also give them a waiver on the lighting since it is an existing lighting situation. The engineer would have to approve the shrubbery that's put around the trash container area. And this would have to be approved, all these approvals would have to be done by our engineer and our fire marshal. Is that it, Mr. Pizzo? Is there anything else?
The only other thing I would say, in addition to compliance with those items, you were referring, Mr. Knowles, to the May 1, 2024 review letter of TPD, the township engineer, addressed to the Township Director of Building and Planning regarding this project, just so that the numbers line up in terms of waivers and the like, and the will comply items. All of the items that weren't waived, as you indicated, are all will comply items. The applicant will also comply with all of the conditions set forth in the May 1, 2024 traffic review number 2 from TPD. That letter also addressed to the Township Director of Building and Planning. And it should be specifically noted that item 1 of that letter indicates a traffic impact fee, and the applicant agrees that it will pay that, correct?
Correct. Oh, sorry.
And
If there is one.
Correct.
That's correct, Mr.
Yes.
Alfieri. And as to item number 7 in that letter, it should be noted that should be a note added to the plan if it's not already there. I believe you wanted to include those items as well, Mr. Knowles.
Yeah, I amend my motion to include the impact fee that's agreed to be paid upon as approved by our impact fee letter provided. And also note that it was from the letter that Mr. Kisselback was reading off of the May 1st, 2024 letter from Traffic Planning and Design, that these approvals and acceptance of all the other things on this letter are from that letter dated May 1st, 2024. That's
What was
it.
the date?
May 1st, 2024.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the
We
motion.
do have a second on the motion. Any additional discussion on the motion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Any against, any abstentions? And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you back. We have agenda item number 8. This is the applicant for Ed DeAngelis, EDA Contractors. This is at 633 Dunksbury Road, warehouse and storage. This is a GI zoning classification, and the tax map parcel is 02-075-081. And if you can identify yourself, sir.
Good evening, Mike McGinnis here tonight on behalf of EDA Contractors. I have Stephen Michaelzak with me from Pinoni, who's prepared the site plan before council for consideration. I also have Ed DeAngelis, who is the president of EDA, who will be addressing council momentarily. As Mr. Kisselback stated, the subject property that we're here to discuss is 633 Dunksbury Road in the township. The property is approximately 11.185 acres. It is presently improved, as you can see on the site plan, with a 98,135 square foot structure with an accessory parking area. Ed will provide more detail about EDA's operations momentarily, but the existing use primarily consists of warehousing and manufacturing. The property is located in the General Industrial District, and if you look at the site plan, it is located within an existing industrial park. It's bounded by Marshall Lane to the north, and then industrial properties both to the east and to the south, and Dunksbury Road to the west. What we are proposing is a 40,000 square foot addition to the existing structure. EDA does projects all along the East Coast, but we're looking to hopefully continue to expand our operations within Bensalem. This is going to, the design and this was just discussed last project, even though we're adding a significant building coverage, this is going to result, because of our design, in a significant reduction in the stormwater management flow from this property. I do want to give you just a bit of very, very brief overview about EDA, and then Ed's going to provide more context in a second. EDA specializes in exterior building services, including roofing and waterproofing. The company started in 1999, but the subject property was acquired by EDA in 2016. The company has grown to over 300 employees between this location and New Jersey. And then again, as I indicated, the intent with this addition is to continue to grow the operation here in Bensalem. Some of the projects that EDA has worked on and completed successfully, just to give council a bit of background, is LaGuardia, the Newark Airport, UPenn, and then Live Casino and Hotel in the city. So EDA does a wide range of projects, some high-end projects, and they're very proud of both their overall work product and also their involvement in the local community here in the township. So we do have a number of waivers that we're requesting. This is a preliminary and final land development project. What I would suggest, if it's acceptable to council, is again to have Mr. DeAngelis address council, give you more background about EDA, and then have Mr. Michaelzak do a brief overview of the site plan, and then we'll tackle the review letters that TPD has issued.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening, council. My name is Ed DeAngelis. I'm the CEO of EDA Contractors. I come to you today because, in a good reason, we are growing as an organization and a company. And most of our growth has been up in the East Coast, up to the New York, New Jersey area. When we moved here in 2016, we thought that our growth from where we were before, which was in Bensalem, which is at 600 Center Avenue, right around the corner, we thought that this building would suffice to be able to handle our growth. But our growth has been exponential in the manufacturing standpoint. So all of our panels that we do, which we did for Newark, LaGuardia, and some of those type of projects, are all done in our warehouse here in Bensalem. We have a unionized shop in there. We're signed with the Carpenters Union, and we use those individuals to do our fabrication. This has been an ongoing idea of whether we were going to grow here to serve the New York, New Jersey area, or to grow up in the New Jersey area. We chose this area because we generally enjoy this area. We've been able to hire many people from this area to be able to service the work that we do, but both in our office operation and in our fabrication operation. We're a very community-based organization. 3 years ago, I'm not sure if you remember, we did a Make-A-Wish, a little boy for a construction worker for the day, and we had ABC, we had a bunch of people here, seeing what we're doing as it relates to the community. We're excited by this opportunity. It's something that, we've been looking forward to grow, keep growing our operation. Again, since our fabrication is one of the things that we really are looking for, this type of addition will allow us to maintain our place here without separating both our operations in this area and in Elizabeth, which is really mostly servicing our New York operation. If there's anything else that, we've been growing, like I said, exponentially, and this type of facility will help us continue to maintain our presence here in Bensalem, which we have enjoyed over the past almost 15 years. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to
How many jobs do you think this additional space is going to create for you? And are they going to be carpenter union jobs or other jobs?
They're going to be carpenter union jobs. I would say that it's because of our growth. For example, we just had an opportunity for the Buffalo Bills Stadium. It didn't work out. We didn't get it. But if we would have had that, we would have probably had an additional 15 to 20 people in that space. We still believe that that's our goal, is to continue moving forward. So as we get additional projects, most of the fabrication will be done here instead of, changing it to a different location.
So you'll have the capacity to be able to increase.
It'll allow us to have that capacity to maintain it here, because if not, we would have to subcontract it, because we build our own panels, our own fabrication shop, so we would either have to subcontract to someone out of the area, or do it ourselves, or build another facility up in the New York, New Jersey region.
What type of materials do you work with? You say you're building panels, what does that mean?
So, every project, for example, at Newark, there was 100,000 square foot of metal panels, so they come in flat sheets, and then what we do is we design and fabricate them into the shapes that are required for the project. So we take a flat sheet, and then we have our fabricators, through our engineering, fabricate the shapes required for the project.
Okay. But, so you don't go out on location and do the construction, you just,
No, we do both.
you do that too also?
We also
Did you
do
do that
that.
in LaGuardia, did you say also? In
We
different?
did it at LaGuardia.
You did, okay, I wasn't sure.
Live Casino, all those panels on the outside of Live Casino were fabricated
Okay. Well,
by
everything-
us and installed by us.
I love everything you're saying so far about yourself and your company
Well, thank
and
you.
your growth in Bensalem, and I wish we got to know you a little bit beforehand, but, so I hate to say welcome to Bensalem, but it's
No
nice
problem.
meeting you.
Thank you very much. It's nice of you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, thank you
Who
very
else?
much for your time.
See how he does up here now, right? Hard act to follow, right, sir?
Yes, sir. Hello, good evening. My name is Stephen Michael Zach, Pennoni Associates. I'll be reviewing the existing and proposed conditions that we have here in front of you. Feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. So the project's located at the corner of Dunks Ferry Road and Marshall Lane. The lot area is about 11 acres, and it's zoned in the general industrial district. The site currently contains a 98,000 square foot building and has roughly 98 parking stalls. The existing access is shown as a two-way access in the northeast portion of the site, as you can see in that top left-hand corner. And that is along Dunks Ferry Road there. The applicant, EDA Contractors, is proposing around a 38,000 square foot building addition in the southern part of the site. The existing use will remain, and the additional parking to the east has been designed in that area for a total of 146 parking stalls. The loading docks are also shown to the south left portion of the plan, and we have designed a two-way access in that location as well, just south of the existing access there. Stormwater management is shown with a 9,400 square foot basin in that southern area just south of the proposed addition. As Mike mentioned, we're significantly reducing stormwater from the existing to proposed condition. We've managed not only the proposed building shown in dark orange, but we've also managed the top portion of the site, which is the light orange, which is around 100,000 square feet. So we've got a pretty sizable basin and utilizing, that southern portion. for
Where is it? I'm
mitigation.
sorry.
So the basin's shown in like that dark green, pretty much from the, left side from Dunks Ferry all the way to the right.
Okay. So it's parallel to the building.
Yep. Very long, slender, but the footprint's 9,400 square feet. And yeah, we've significantly reduced the CFS for existing and proposed. And yeah, happy to answer any questions you guys have about the site.
Well, I'm going to bring Mr. McGinnis back up.
Yeah, sure.
And we're going to go through the letter we have that was,
So if I can at the beginning, I will note that the traffic review letter received from Mr. Worst's office on May 1st is a will comply with the 3 comments that are tendered therein. And then the TPD May 1st civil review letter, I'm happy, Mr. Kisselback, to take this however you want. I will say everything in the review is a will comply, other than the waivers which are stated at the conclusion of the review letter on page 5 and 6, which are numbered through number 8, with one, I don't know if it's an additional
Page
waiver
7.
request, but comment that I have.
page 7, correct?
Correct, that's right.
And on page 6, what is that chart there?
So on the bottom of, the bottom of page.
Maybe, you know what? I think I may have the older letter.
Okay.
Excuse me for a second. Yeah. I'm using the one in my
It's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, I was confused myself.
Let me take this off. I'm sorry.
The bottom of page 5 in the May 1st letter, which concludes the top third of page 6.
All right, and your stormwater management, I'm just going to comment on that. You have your design, 100-year flood is a minus, well, this is pretty good, from 73.12 CFSs to down to 32.93. That's a considerable difference, more than half. And then on your 1-year stormwater management, you have 18.93 to minus.
So the column on the far right is the reduction, so we're reducing it
Proposed change,
by-
okay.
Correct.
All right, I had to look, so wait a minute. It didn't make sense.
We've reduced it to negative.
Okay, exactly,
No.
yeah. All right, well,
And to piggyback on the comment that Stephen made moments ago, part of the item that we were excited to share is we're building a 40,000 square foot addition. We're adding additional parking as is required because of what Ed's anticipating with the site. But rather than capturing the stormwater flow from the addition that we're building, this was designed because many of the properties within the industrial park are just completely bereft of any stormwater management systems whatsoever. This was designed to capture the improvements that currently exist absent the development. So it wasn't just to capture the addition, it was to capture the improvements as it's currently situated, which is why you see such a reduction in the post-development flows.
yeah,
of the
it's
stormwater.
excellent, very good. You're doing everything right, thank you.
So, yep.
You should have more clients like this, Mr. Michael.
makes my job easy.
Okay, let's go, we're going to do this. We all had, I'm sorry, what? Oh. All right, we all had the opportunity to read the review letter, and everything is you're complying with, and we know what that is. So
That's
I'm going to
correct.
go address to the waivers that you're requesting,
Sure.
which is on page 5, and let's
That's
go
right.
through them individually. You can explain to me what you're looking to do and why, okay?
Correct.
So on page 5, which is the new letter we have in front of us, is the following is a list of request waivers from the applicant. Section 196-47.2B, point 1, point capital B.
Correct. One, and just for ease of conversation, I'm going to group it with the second one because they're interrelated, which is
Wonderful.
20141D9. Their existing features waivers as part of the development. We supplied, I believe, an aerial, but Steve, if you can just comment on why that's being requested.
Yeah, so we provide an area to show in excess of 400 feet to comply partially with this waiver. Typically, with a survey, you get the property boundary, so it's a little bit difficult to go in excess of 400 feet. So
Phil?
we work
You go-
that through.
You
an
go with
area.
those waivers?
Yep, it's typically what you waive.
All right, we do. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's go on number 3. We have section 201-41, point D, point 10. This is to allow Pennsylvania State Coordinate System Zone South,
Yep.
NAD 83, and a vertical datum to be NAVD, N-A-V-D 88.
I had to learn how to pronounce some of those words at the Plan Commission, so I'm just going to turn that right over to Stephen.
So North American Datum, it's really just the survey control point that they use for both horizontal and vertical dimensioning for the survey. So we just use
All
a
right.
different coordinate system.
As long as you understood it, I'm fine. Okay, wonderful. I know what you're doing there, it's fine. All right, number 4, section 201-42-A, to permit preliminary or final land development plan in lieu of, well, okay, we do that. That's a normal thing for us, so, of course, we want to grant that waiver, because that's what we do. And section 201-106A, 2A6, to permit grading within 3 feet of the site property line. You need to do that with all that space you have?
I think that relates to the location of the stormwater management
That's
basin
what I
that
thought.
Stephen's referencing. So that's being designed particularly to capture, my understanding is the runoff that would result from the building because of where it's located. But
Yeah, and to maximize the square footage of the basin and make it as large as possible, we had to tie into grades closer to the boundary, so.
Right, but you're going to comply with the Conservancy in terms of, I don't know what they call those, what's that called? To protect runoff when they're doing the construction of
Yeah, filter socks.
filter socks, yeah, that
Yeah,
would
so we have
be
an
correct.
approved ENS permit. We have filter socks all around the perimeter whenever stormwater is going to be.
So you have those permits?
Yes.
Which you stated earlier, okay. We didn't go over, so I wanted to make sure. And then 201-106C10, to provide lot trees, you're going to give us a fee in lieu of,
Correct, that's right. We are, you
how many
see,
trees was that, Michael?
we have, I think, 9, I
Is that
believe
it?
was noted
We're
in here,
proposing
but
9.
we're proposing 9,
And I
correct.
think we're required to,
We've required a pretty large
I
number.
think it was around 146.
And you can see, looking on the site plan, that that's not, unfortunately, that's not feasible. We're maximizing the green space next to the addition for the stormwater facilities. We have the building addition, and then we have the associated parking areas, and it's located within the industrial park. So we're asking for consideration to provide a fee in lieu with respect to eliminating the rather large requirement for additional street trees.
But
being
the
For
planted.
how
fee
many
in-
trees?
Exactly.
So it was 142 trees required, and we're proposing 9.
You're proposing
Proposing a
actually
fee
to put...
in lieu of for
No,
9?
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, we're,
42 minus 9,
the difference.
Yeah,
No,
142.
138,
No, 133.
133.
Close enough, Joe.
Correct.
It's-
How many trees are you planting?
We're planting 9, so we'll have to do a
And then a fee in lieu of the
130.
remainder.
So the
Thank-
balance of 133 trees is you're going to give us the fee in lieu of.
Correct.
Okay, you lost me there a little bit, but I
that's
don't
right.
The not,
pursued it.
sorry, the 9 are
professionally
in the
right to the
upper
point.
right-hand corner around the parking islands.
The intent, which might serve as a transition to the next waiver, actually, similar to sidewalks, typically the fee in lieu structure is an understanding that in the ordinance, we have a requirement to do certain things like plant trees or install sidewalks. And in the event that the site doesn't warrant or can't really handle either the sidewalks or the tree planting, we provide the fee in lieu to the township to utilize that at an off-site location that's better suited than what we're seeking. So similar to the next waiver request, which is sidewalk related, we do have sidewalks that we are partially installing, including working with TPD from an interior access standpoint, which has transpired over the last few months. But there are locations on the site where we are not installing sidewalks, and that's why we have the
And our township
that's being
engineer will
requested.
determine that, the cost of and the lineage for that. Okay. And then number 8, section 201-137, to not provide metal pole streetlights. Okay, what's that mean?
So that's a ordinance section in Bensalem's code to provide metal pole streetlights. It's a criteria, it doesn't match what we're proposing for our
And
site
what are you
poles.
proposing?
In certain locations around the upper portion of the parking lot, we have regular street poles, but they don't match that ordinance section. So let me just read these.
So what kind of poles, what they are? What are they on?
Let me just,
These are got metal or wood, right?
I believe they are like, I think maybe aluminum. I'm not sure of the exact material, but I think it really just has to do with the actual language in the saldo as to why we're requesting this variance.
Mr. Worker, did you review that, and are you okay with the poles that they're putting in?
It's quite do you have the full plan set in your possession?
Yep.
So on the second sheet after the cover, CS002, it's a pretty substantial saldo section for providing metal pole streetlights. It mentions conduits.
What page was that on?
That's the second page, CS0002. At the bottom left, it's probably pretty small to read.
Yes, it is.
But, so it talks about the use of metal poles, materials, light shall be energized, lighting supplied by developers. It's just a lengthy ordinance section that we request.
So
for
you're
waivers.
using aluminum material for your poles, is that correct, as opposed
To
to?
a standard metal street pole. I think it's just a outdated ordinance section.
I've never seen a difference. I mean, aluminum poles and metal poles.
Right, they don't rust as much either.
And the developers maintain.
Yeah,
Correct.
all right, so you're asking for that, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's not belabor that, there's no
Yes.
reason to belabor that.
It's in the
It
parking
makes
area.
sense.
The only other comment, Mr. Kisbeck, that I would bring to your attention, and I don't know if we need to officially ask for it as a waiver or not, but there is a small portion of the site where there is, and this is, I'm sorry, I'll bring council's attention to page 3, comment 5 in Saldo, section 201-109, entitled Easements and Underground Utilities. And this is a fairly standard matter where there is a sanitary sewer easement that Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority has, where we are not proposing a structure. There's just a bit of paving, and the Water and Sewer Authority is aware of this, and they're fine with it. And we'll have that confirmed however Mr. Pizzo deems fit. So I did want to note that whether we're noting that as a will comply or not, I did just want to state that they are aware, confirmation has been received, and we can coordinate
If
with Mr.
Mr.
Pizzo.
Worcester is fine with that being a waiver, I prefer putting in as a waiver, that way that gives you the opportunity to
Appreciate that.
negotiate that.
So is that under the building or alongside? Where is that?
So the easement runs along Dunks Ferry Road. It's, runs parallel to Dunks Ferry Road.
Yeah. It's not under a building.
That was just the way you were speaking. I was like, wait.
Yeah, no, I was trying to make clear, and I apologize if I was inarticulate, that typically, in my experience, a water and sewer authority has an issue when you're proposing a structure over an easement, and we're not. We just have a little paved area, which means in the event of an issue, they can easily excavate and get to it to maintain the line, that's all.
All right, so your waivers requests are 1 on page 5, 1 through 8, as well as number 5 from page 3.
Correct,
That
and
would,
everything else is a will
incorporate
comply.
your waivers.
Yes, that's
Okay,
it.
fine.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions from our council members?
I have a question regarding the comment on the wetland certifications. It's noted that there's 2 separate wetland certifications that are worded differently from each other. They should be revised.
Yes, so there's 2 areas of wetlands, in this bottom portion here, and then this right area here. In the existing condition, we're actually, in the proposed condition, we're starting less than the existing condition, and that was a comment from Nicole as to how it was calculated, and we did reach an agreement with her to revise it.
Okay, so.
Is there any other issues, Mr. Pizzo, relative to the fire marshal or anything like that? How about, there's got to be a impact fee.
Correct, and that's in the traffic review, which we're agreeable to.
Okay.
Did you receive an approval from the fire marshal? You have an agreement with him?
So, yes, we received approval from the fire marshal. His last remaining comment had to do with fire lane stripings, and we did meet a agreement with him.
Comply with all his
Yes.
requests.
So let's get, you're approximately 135,000 square foot now, is that right? A little less than that?
Yes. Mhm.
Hold on, to be clear, the most recent fire letter that we have for the rejection indicates the fire apparatus turning design plan in addition to required signage and markings, and also utility plan for specific locations for new and existing hydrants. So
yeah.
all of those items are being addressed
They've all
and
been-
will comply.
They've all been addressed.
Okay.
So do we have that in written, Phil, or is?
We do.
Do we have an
Okay.
approval?
It's part of, for the fire?
Yes.
I haven't seen the actual one from Rob, but.
We have an email from Rob clearly confirming that he. he's a-
We'll
It's a
have
will
to
comply.
condition this upon the written approval.
Okay, yes.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Would anyone like to come forward and comment on this proposed land development, preliminary and final? Would you like to come up? You sitting there? No, okay. She's with you guys, right? She's in favor of it. Yeah, okay, there you go. A shill, huh?
That's it. She's great.
Okay, please, at this point, we're going to close that part of it, and anyone from council would like to make a motion on this proposal?
I'll make a motion. I think 142 minus 8 is 134, actually.
Nice.
No, it's not. 8. Oh, 9, that's right, you're
9.
right. 232, sorry. Sorry. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Anyway,
He's still at the Kentucky Derby.
I was in Louisville, Kentucky this morning at 5. That's how dedicated I am.
We appreciate your dedication,
Thank you.
Councilman Knowles.
Thank you. It's a photo finish at 3 horses and I lost. This is consideration of preliminary and final land development for Ed D. Angelis, President, EDA Contractors, 633 Dunksbury Road, General Industrial Tax Parcel 02075-081. We'll approve this based on the waivers accepted. One would be the easement with the sewer, which is on page 3, number 5. Also, the waivers that were listed and reviewed on page 5, 1 through 8, and this is on the review letter, again dated May 1st, 2024, from Traffic Planning and Design Incorporated. Also will be conditioned upon the approval from the fire marshal that he's gotten final approval for, and you met all his conditions. The trees will be paid in lieu of, and the sidewalks will be paid in lieu of that aren't put in.
Correct.
As determined by our engineer. And we will also, you also agreed to pay the traffic study money that's due,
Yes, the traffic impact fee.
traffic impact fee due. Okay, is there anything else, Mr. Pizzo, or?
Is there any letters have to be submitted to us from surrounding neighbors, Mr. Pizzo?
The notices to the adjacent property owners were provided to me at the start of the hearing by Mr. McGinnis. They do appear to be in order.
Okay, I'm not saying that's it, but that's it, that should be it.
That's it, right? That's it.
All right, I need a second on the motion.
I'll second.
We have a second on motion. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against?
Thank
Any
you.
abstentions? Unanimous.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. Appreciate it.
Good luck. Hope to see you around the neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being prepared.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, moving on to agenda item number, we skipped 9, or we tabled it, I should say, excuse me. And moving on to agenda item number 10, which is a consideration of escrow release, Gibson Holdings, release number 3, in the amount of $33,069.50, tax map parcel 2-54-5. Here we go. Quentin?
Good evening, council. So, like the council president stated, this is escrow release number 3. The request was made for $42,173.93, which we have checked the areas in question, and we're recommending release of the $33,069.50. If there's any questions, I can answer them for you.
On the one item, the sidewalk, you have noted that they did it within the right-of-way. So do they have to tear it up?
No, that was when we were going over the release and checking the quantities. The Gibson Road is a state highway, so that money for the sidewalk was put into the state escrow fund, not the township fund. So we could not release that funds because it was not in our escrow line.
The way it's written to me, it sounds like the work was done within their right-of-way, so you
Well,
weren't
it is
releasing
within
it.
PennDOT's right away, but it's not in
But
our
that's why you
cost
weren't
estimate.
releasing it, so.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the release of $33,069.50 for Gibson Holdings LLC, 1515 Gibson Road, tax parcel 254 5, as audited by the Finance Department.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second?
We have a second on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. And against? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you. You did a wonderful job. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 11, public comment. Would anyone like to come up and make any comments? No? Okay, that's closed. Other business from personnel. Phil, I'll go to you first. Would you like to make any comments?
No, sir.
Mr. Pizzo? Nothing at this time. Our council members. Michelle Benitez, please.
Check out the township website. We have a great recreation program, a soccer club for children, I think, that are 3 and up. Just check it out. It's a great program, affordable, and it's something to keep the kids busy this summer. May 20th is the police memorial here at the township at 10 a.m., so please come join us. And I had a great time. I was able to go to PSATs with other state township officials and really get some good information and contacts regarding emergency management. I really enjoyed myself and enjoyed meeting a lot of great people from across Pennsylvania that do some of the work that we do. And other than that, that's it. Have a good one and go Phillies.
Okay, we'll go to Councilman Polari. Nothing from Councilman Polari. Councilman Knowles.
Yes, I would like to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. It's coming up, including Michelle and Tracy, your mother. Stacy.
Close enough.
Tracy's a mother, isn't she?
All right, go ahead, Joe. Finish up.
That's it. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Ms. Champion. See, I got it.
I bet on our mother, on the
All right,
race.
go ahead. Stacy, go ahead. You're on.
His mother was a mother.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody celebrating Mother's Day. And the concert series comes up at the end of the month. I think Michelle mentioned that. Looking forward to that. It's on my birthday, the first one. I'll be
Wonderful.
Old. I'm old. But any of that, summer's coming. Enjoy. Go Phillies.
Okay, Phillies are in first place, number 1. May 18th, Armed Forces Day. May 20th, our council meeting, as well as Police Memorial. The 27th is Memorial Day, so that's what's coming up on our calendar. Mother's Day, of course, we all know. Most important person in our life.
And the Memorial Day parade, don't forget it. I forgot to mention that.
And the Memorial Day parade will be on that Monday. And we go down,
Bristol Pike.
we go down, correct, Bristol Pike, from just below Street Road to the end of Andalusia. And the kids love it, especially when you're throwing them the candy and everything that's happened. So it's really, if you get out there, it's nice to get a chance to see a lot of our individuals that are involved in the township. And that's it. Good night. We're ending. Finish.